Investors Playbook Live. As always, you have your co-hosts, Deshaun and Cornell, coming at you every week talking financial information, financial literacy, financial education, financial topics. And we have another banger topic this week. Yesterday, literally my birthday. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. Hey, look, if y'all could do me a favor, man, if you're watching this, subscribe, leave a comment, share with somebody else. Do that for me as a birthday gift. I will really appreciate it. We will really appreciate it over at Investors Playbook. This is free game that we give every single day, and all that we ask is that you hit that subscribe button. So, all right, enough of that. Let's dig into what this episode is actually going to be about, which is yesterday, Donald Trump signed an executive order allowing 401k's, the retirement accounts that are company sponsored, to invest in cryptocurrency and other assets. The big thing, of course, is the cryptocurrency. That's what everyone's talking about. So we're going to talk about that today. Cornell, what are your thoughts, man? How do you feel about 401k's, 403b's now being open to cryptocurrency, digital assets, bro?
I hate to say I told you so, man. But man, as soon as they started with the ETFs, when they approved the ETFs and all those big name companies started to roll out their own personal ETFs, I knew what time it was. Because my thing is now it's becoming more adopted by it's becoming more mainstream.
Yep.
And it only makes sense that they would try to open it up to retirement, and it's only going to propel the crypto space even more. It's because half the time, like if they can get to the point where they're in like the main packages, like the target date funds, it's over with.
Oh, yeah.
Like you missed the boat at that point. Like if you're not in crypto at that point, it's over with.
Yeah. It's insane, man. I don't know, man. I feel like it's still very early for crypto. Even if it does, if it gets into those target date funds, any of these mutual funds, because right now, cryptocurrency has its own ETF, right? When they start including, if they start including Bitcoin, Ethereum into things like mutual fund packages and things like that, especially ones that companies can allow um, their employees to invest in, that's when I'm like, yeah, it's the sky is the limit at that point, right? Because now anytime someone invests in it, you're automatically investing inside of crypto, automatically investing in cryptocurrency. So, but a lot of people are worried about the volatility, right? A lot of people are worried about the volatility. And I want to say this real quick, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We are talking about Donald Trump. Hey, shout out to you, Zozo. We were talking about Donald Trump signing an executive order yesterday allowing 401k's to invest in cryptocurrency. All right. If you have a 401k, if you work for a company and open up a 401k retirement account, have a 403b, you might be able to invest in some crypto pretty soon in your retirement account. All right. We know how important these retirement accounts are. So now we're talking about investing in something that could potentially be pretty volatile, right? Normally, when you think retirement, you think of slow, steady gains. They kind of restrict what you can invest in. So I'm interested to see how this whole cryptocurrency thing plays out. But yeah, what do you think about the volatility aspect of it, Cornell? How's that
Uh,
going to affect people? You know?
my thing is this allows like us being able to put cryptocurrency into our retirement accounts, our tax advantage retirement accounts just opens new doors. Because as you said, we think that this is pretty much it's not ground floor, it's pretty much ground floor for
Hmm.
cryptocurrency, right? So think about how much growth it has. And say you have this into in like a Roth IRA or something like that. Because you know, right now, we already have crypto ETFs. We can already invest in Bitcoin through ETFs. So imagine you have you're you're maxing out your IRA and it's a Roth IRA. You're getting all that growth from now until retirement, and then you get to take all that money tax free because it's Roth. It's already tax dollars. They're changing the game.
Absolutely. They are. It's It's about to be something that we have never seen. Cryptocurrency already is something that we've never seen before, right? Bitcoin tapped 120,000 not too long ago. I don't know where it's at right now. It got really close to 120. I don't know if it hit it on the head, but y- yeah, Bitcoin is going nuts. XRP, Ripple is going nuts. Ethereum. So the question with this topic is, how is that going to look? Is this going to be retirement accounts can invest in crypto ETFs, the ones that already exist on the market? Are they going to create new mutual funds that allow that 401k's can invest in? And then an even deeper question, 401k's are already restricted. I can't take my 401k and go invest in Tesla or go invest in a single stock. I have to invest in what the company allows me to. So the next question is, yes, Trump signed an executive order saying, hey, you are allowed to invest cryptocurrency into your 401k, but are the companies going to say, yes, you can invest in cryptocurrency? We're going to add it to the list of funds that you can invest in, because we all know they have the target date funds, right? For every 5 years, there's a target date fund. And then there might be like a US equities, small cap, large cap, and then the company. And then that's like it, you know? So where would it go in there? That's another question that I think will come up as this starts to progress and people start to kind of wrap their head around the idea of investing in cryptocurrency in their 401k. It's kind of crazy.
Because it does add an extra layer. Because people might think, oh, he is now allowing crypto in the 401k, so I'm automatically going to be invested into it. But that's not the case. Of course, most people don't even know that they're investing in it. A lot of people, I know a lot of people that do not even know they're investing in the stock market when it goes to their 401k. They just think that they're saving in it. Right? They don't even know why the money is going up. So of course, like you have to pick certain packages. You don't have to because they automatically put you in something. Most people are in that automatic something. But if you're more intentional and you want to see great growth, most people will look at the different packages and see which is best for their situation. So I'm guessing, I don't know how long it's going to take for companies to actually adopt it, and how how long it's going to take for it to be more and more normalized and mainstream. But I'm guessing that the companies are going to have their own packages with Bitcoin. I don't know if they'll do like a package with completely cryptocurrency and nothing else, because that would be insane. or or will they have it embedded with like blue chip stocks like Microsoft, Apple, then you got Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? Because once it gets to that point, yeah, it's we're there.
Some of the companies do have that large cap as a list, but it's you're probably not going to see a single stock outside of the company itself that you can choose from. Everything else is going to be a blanket mutual fund or some large um portfolio of stocks that you invest in. And I think you're right, you might be hitting it on the head. They would find something that Bitcoin, that Ethereum, that these cryptocurrencies are invested in, some type of fund, and allow you to invest in that. But highly doubt that they're going to say you can invest directly into Bitcoin using your, like Bitcoin alone, using your retirement account. But yeah, I think that might be the route that they take, because that's what it's been. Back in the day, 401ks, you could do whatever you wanted with your money. And companies started to realize that it wasn't working. People were blowing their retirement accounts by YOLOing on single stocks. So they had to put boundaries, and adding something volatile like cryptocurrency as a selection. They're going to have to make sure that when they do add it, that they have those restraints so that people don't take their 40 years of of retirement savings, put it on a single cryptocurrency or something that is as volatile as Bitcoin, and it goes in a direction that they don't want it to go right before they retire. So to avoid things like that, I think companies are going to really have to think about what they are going to, how they're going to introduce cryptocurrency into the 401k market. So, I, interesting nonetheless. Um, but yeah, I think is an exciting time for sure. It's gonna be something that it's already something that's game changing. And we're just seeing more and more of this crypto adoption in all these large companies, financial industries, and now where we're holding a large chunk of our wealth, stock market, retirement accounts. So it's just gonna keep expanding, man.
But what I really like about this is the security around it, because we already know that cryptocurrency has been lacking in security, especially like when there wasn't a whole lot of policies around it. With something that's new, you're gonna have new scams, things that you've never seen before. Just criminals are very innovative and they work faster than anybody else, really. So now these things are going to be FDIC insured, right? Because now they're within securities like ETFs and hopefully eventually mutual funds or 401k packages. So now we have our money in these reputable institutions where if something happens to that money, you're sure to be reimbursed.
And by something happening, we mean getting scammed, not you losing because cryptocurrency or your investment goes the other way. That's just the market. That's just market volatility. You can't you can't call up the powers that be and say, "Hey, man, I invested in crypto and it didn't go my way. What's up?" Like that's a wrap. Yes, it also mentions real estate too and other alternative assets. So I know we mentioned this on a previous podcast, but it sounds like they're opening the 401k, opening the door of 401ks and expanding it and making it more of like a solo IRA. I'm sorry, not solo IRA, a self-directed IRA, which goes well beyond just the stock market. But this is talking about a company sponsored 401k, which who knows, maybe they'll end up calling it self-directed 401k one day. Maybe. That would be insane. And I also think that is where education is going to play a huge role. Because if you are allowed to do whatever you want with your, I don't know, $100,000 retirement account, um, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to take advantage of the less educated and take advantage of people who are trying to make money really fast or invest in things. Because again, that's why those boundaries were put on the 401k to protect the individual. So with this openness of options, you have to be diligent. You have to increase your understanding of all things finances. So as these things roll out, as these new rules roll out, and as these new options roll out, it's important to remain educated and stay on top of what you can and can't do and what makes sense and what's a good investment. So just wanted to say that for sure because that, yeah, putting again, I think companies are going to be smart about it, but wanting to make sure that whenever this does happen, we're not putting our retirement accounts at risk, you know, by investing in things outside of things that we understand. So, hmm, yep.
Me personally, I do like to put a certain percentage towards right now, I'm pretty much almost all aggressive. If you ask like a institution, like they'll tell you Microsoft and Apple and Nvidia are aggressive, and I really don't agree, man. To be honest, I mean, I guess it is aggressive, but I guess people say like it's a higher risk, and my thing is, these are the companies that are carrying the world right now. I don't see it as much risk as businesses will tell you or analysts will tell you. But that's just the way I'm thinking. Because if these companies were to just go away, it will cripple us or it will stop advancement. Like this is stuff that we need. Like right now, we're in the middle of an AI revolution. If something happened to Nvidia, There's no other semiconductor business that is even close to them. They're decades ahead, or maybe a decade ahead. But like, I think second up is what, like AMD, and AMD is that's
Yeah, they got some work to do. Um, yeah, same with Intel. I don't is Intel. I know they have computers, but I don't know if they think they make chips, not semi.
in semiconductors. So Intel is really not even in the game. I don't know if you remember, but the CEO actually came on and he hit headlines. Yeah, so I don't know. So certain things I feel like it would be silly not to invest in. Not that I'm telling anybody what to invest in. I know there's just certain companies that are running the world that I would definitely have my money in.
Analysts try and do is explain that this one company, yes, if something did happen to it, the world would literally change. But it doesn't mean that something can't happen to it, you know? Yeah. And if something did happen to it, then and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be that the company does bad. It can be that the CEO got caught in a scandal or that the CEO something happened to it or they did something illegal. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that the company is not producing. It could be they partnered with, some foreign entity that they weren't supposed to and now you know what I mean? Like mhm.
Right now, what do you think? What you think Microsoft will go away?
I'm just saying that it could alter the price. It's not just is the company producing a great product and nothing else matters. I think all those other like what happened with United Healthcare, right? I don't know what other healthcare company is to the level, but they got wrecked when all of that changing happened with their CEOs. And then the unfortunate accident happened or late last year. Then they swapped and then they swapped. And it's like, is United Healthcare doing bad financially, or are they in the headline news and have negative news over and over and over again? You feel me?
Some of these companies almost have a monopoly, and when you get to that level, is it's like, can you get wrecked, or are you too big to fail?
Big to where they're invincible. You feel me? Yeah. And but that's I can't think of any. I mean, I can't think of a company. Mhm.
It's too intertwined in everything that we do.
I think it has to do so like with Apple and what's happening with Apple, right? Their 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 like their pioneer passed away. A new CEO came, and after like years and years and years and years and years of lack of innovation, people are starting to realize Apple might not be the Apple that we knew. People thought Apple was just going to dominate forever, but slowly they're like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? All right, we're seeing the same thing. And then you start to hear those whispers. This iPhone looks just like the last iPhone. This iPhone looks just like the last iPhone. And then before you know it, 8 years later,
And we're still
the Apple company moving like all the other tech companies. Is it going in the same direction and has the same trajectory as things like Nvidia and Microsoft and Amazon? That's what I'm saying. So, yes, it took 10 years, but no company is invincible to the point where they just can't do anything. Just like how go ahead.
you know what I'm saying? Yes.
Fail. It, you feel me? It's not moving and it's not progressing as we thought it. Like, if you think about Apple 8 years ago, you would not think that it would stagnate or stall at all. It's gonna be. Apple, Microsoft. It was part of Fang. It was part of all those, like the companies that were at the top. And it still is. See, Apple is an amazing company. They do great things, but it's not moving the same and at the same rate as some of these other tech companies, as some of these. Yeah, and Apple is a big company. You feel me? But imagine if someone said, I'm gonna just put everything on Apple. It ain't going nowhere. And then they just kept doing that. And then Nvidia came around and it was like, Apple's good. So that's why, like you said, diversification is key. And the reason analysts think aggressive is because any single stock, like something can happen to it. But if you are in a mutual fund, an ETF, a bucket of stocks, and you could do that yourself. It doesn't have to be a mutual fund. You can invest in multiple stocks, which you do, which I do. We're like creating diversification. The same thing a mutual fund does. We're just hitting the manual button. So yeah, and I don't know if they get to that level of granular where, well, you have 15 different stocks. That means that you're not aggressive. You have a bunch of single stocks. You're aggressive. You know, it's a computer that.
We only look at the top 10 holdings 9 times out of 10. Like I'm cutting off the rest of those 40 stocks and I'm investing in the top 10. Like forget all the rest of that stuff. Yeah. Sometimes I just, most of my retirement is full of mutual funds. That's just the way I was taught to do it. But uh IRA, yes, I'm sorry. So my IRA is mostly mutual funds, but very often, I think about selling the mutual funds and buying single stocks. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't think it's a bad idea. You feel me? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Um, I had Amazon in my IRA for years. Just watched it grow. Just watched it grow. Yeah, before it split. So I was sitting cool, man. And it's like, I think that you can create diversification by purchasing multiple single stocks. You can buy Nvidia, you can buy Microsoft, you can buy Amazon. And then if you want to diversify even more, look at the top of a different sector. But right now, tech is king. So you don't really need to, you can diversify enough within tech to where if one company doesn't do as well, you'll still be okay. Like unless everything in tech goes sour, which I can't. That's gonna be hard. You feel me?
But now we got another sector. We got cryptocurrency that we can invest in. But like people that are closer to retirement, like I understand like people that are getting more into bonds and treasuries and things of that nature because you don't want that large fluctuation in what you have when you're about to retire next year. Right? You kind of want to have that number of okay, I have this much and my disbursements are going to look like this. You don't want that number to go down by 20% before you retire and now your retirement looks completely different than you thought it would. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I think that there's something to say to that too, man. Like bonds, they move so slow, and I get it's safe, and I get that it's protected. Um, but I don't think I'll ever get to a point where like all my money is out of the stock market and the mutual funds and only in bonds and only in slow growth. Because I still see the S&P 500, the Nasdaq continuously make high percentage increases every year. And it might have one year that it doesn't do as well. And it might do a negative year every like 7 years or something. Right. And we haven't been alive that long, you know. But
from a place of abundance. You get what I'm saying? But when you're in a place where you're barely making it into retirement or you're slightly over, um, and you have your mindset on retiring the next year, like most people are scrambling to retire. It's not like they have this large number and they can just be like, oh, I can relax. they're like, okay, uh, a lot of people don't even know like what their retirement looks like. People don't look at their retirement, man. People don't plan for their retirement. They just do what their job automatically makes them do. And then when it's time to retire, they're just like, hey, so what do I have? What's next?
Thing that gets people a lot too is the fact that they might have traditional retirement accounts and they see a number and think that all that's theirs. But you're talking like, say you had a $500,000 retirement fund, um, tax, all that. You have to be very meticulous with how much you're taking out every single year, so where you don't like hit these higher tax brackets. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. But yeah, lots of good information though. Lots of good information. Um, but yeah, we definitely wanted to bring that to you all and make sure that y'all are aware of what's happening with these retirement accounts because that got signed yesterday. All right, I just bit my tongue. That got signed yesterday. Okay, it just hurt, bro. My bad. So it got signed yesterday, and who knows how it's going to change and what's going to be affected in like the near future, far future. Just be prepared, be aware. That's all we ask. Get your education up, your financial literacy up is very important to know what's happening. So, yep. All right, Cornell, what announcements we got for him, man? It's a big month. What we got?
Should have said this at the beginning, but we have a few announcements to everyone. First announcement: we will be at Invest Fest in 2.5 weeks, right? Or 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be in Invest Fest in 2 weeks. The 22nd through the 24th, right? All right. And it's at the Georgia World Congress Center in Atlanta. If you're coming through, please come see us. Come see our booth. We got resources for you, and we got great conversation. Also, we have our children's book, which is on Amazon right now. You can either Google Deshaun Edwards or Cornell Rowan, or you can Google The Adventures of
Sure.
the Borrowing Blunder. Is I know this isn't Deshaun's first children's book, but this is my first children's book. So this is my baby. Please go support, go check it out. And I think it's great for kids. So what the plan is that we'll be making a series, okay? So a series of different situations, and your child will know how to when these very common situations come to your child will know how to maneuver and thrive in these situations because they've been here before. They read about these situations. They know how to step the right way, and that's what this book is for.
Creating something that we did not grow up learning. That's it at its core. Material that we did not grow up learning is is here. Investors Playbook has created a financial literacy children's book. All right. And it's so crazy because this particular story is about being a essentially being a private lender. And every time I read it from top to bottom, I think of my wife, Ashley, who is a private lender, who lends money out and has to have conversations with people when they're late on payments or when they have to come up or they come up with excuses and say, I'm gonna get you back soon. And I'm like, this is literally that. You know what I mean? It is not, yeah. So I think it's an amazing to
Okay,
have a, oh, my screen blanked out a bit. Children read this story. I'm excited to have parents read this story to their kids. I think it's gonna be great, man. And this is again the first one. All right, Penny Parker has a lot of adventures to go on, so I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to it.
for watching. Peace.